Yes, what's everyone up to this week?
It's a Monday evening, and five cannabis writers and industry professionals are holding their weekly hangout session on Zoom.
Let's
I know how
see,
I got to do
taking
this.
care of my plants that are now in a hoop house outside.
One of them is Jackie Bryant, a cannabis writer based in San Diego.
I don't have enough work right now, so it's like, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
gotta do what you
Sure,
got.
you gotta do.
I'm waiting on unemployment. They just cleared unemployment for independent contractors in California last week.
Bryant visited a San Diego dispensary recently. She told me it feels safe, but less enjoyable than it used to be.
Spacing everybody apart. Everybody's got PPE on. It's a very regimented, isolated, impersonal, sanitized, like kind of freaked out situation. Honestly, it feels like we've gone back into prohibition a little bit. Like it just kind of, the whole thing's honestly like a little depressing. Like I'm glad it's open and I'm glad it's there, but it's a little sad.
Despite the more somber mood, dispensaries are still doing business thanks to Governor Gavin Newsom's decision to designate them as essential businesses. In March, before that was clear, customers flocked to San Diego dispensaries to stock up. Rocky Goyle owns Apothecare, a licensed dispensary in Mission Valley.
In the initial phases of the lockdown, sales saw a big boost, really unexpected boost. Same thing we saw at the grocery stores and kind of all around town. Nobody was really ready for it, but I know that we handled that rush pretty well.
But the rush ended almost immediately as people started losing jobs and cutting back on discretionary expenses. Goyle has reduced employee hours to compensate for lost revenue. He's also looking to revive Apothecare's delivery service.
We had a delivery service for a while, and we shut it down last year because we just couldn't get it off the ground successfully. The black market was really hard to compete with. We couldn't compete with those prices and that type of turnaround time that they offer. So we shut it down, and we're actually looking to start it back up again.
Meanwhile, Harbor Collective in Barrio Logan has seen a surge in deliveries. But less than 2 miles from the convention center, the shop has suffered from the evaporation of the tourism industry. Chief Compliance Officer Andrew McPartland said July would always bring a surge in business, with customers visiting for Comic-Con, San Diego Pride, and other summer events. With everything canceled, that's a lot of lost business.
Not to mention, we just had the 420 that people were waiting for arguably 10 or so years, where the entire month of April was 420. And then most people had to not only shelter in place, but, events all over the country and all over the state were canceled that would have raised huge revenues for both the local and state markets.
McPartland said at the very least, he's glad dispensaries were allowed to stay open.
Being declared an essential business is a huge step in the right direction for us, and making sure that the patients and the consumers are really protected and able to get a secured quality product that we know has been tested and healthy and is untainted.
At the same time, most cannabis entrepreneurs agree the current situation is a setback for the legal market. Even before the pandemic, licensed pot shops struggled to compete with the untaxed, unregulated black market. Goyle says he doesn't expect an enforcement crackdown anytime soon.
I get from a consumer's perspective, it's difficult to know, hey, is that illegal? Is it legal? And frankly, I don't know that a lot of consumers care as much, right? Especially right now where there's so much uncertainty economically. If something's cheaper, you're not going to ask a lot of questions, I think, about it. You're going to just go and do it and buy it.
A setback for legal cannabis has consequences for the city of San Diego, too. Just a few months ago, city officials were counting on revenue from the local cannabis business tax to help close a budget deficit. Now, those hopes have gone up in smoke. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.